Thank you for choosing to watch the Watchman News Headlines video. Our full episodes can now be seen over at Patreon with much more added content for just $2 a month. Link is in the description. If you cannot afford $2 a month, please consider using our Amazon affiliate link, purchasing from our Teespring store, or making a PayPal donation. All links are below. In order for us to grow, we have to make changes to enable it. Our time is valuable, and we have been one of the very few news sources actually dedicated to bringing you honest, hard-hitting, actionable news and information. Plus, for your $2 a month, you do not have to hear me blabber about these links. It's a win for us all.
Bullshit.
Thank you. Good evening, Watchmen and Watchwomen of YouTube. Tonight we had a discussion on pole shift, and not quite as long a discussion as normal, but my thoughts on it are quite drastically different from what a lot of individuals' thoughts are on it. And I've talked about it before on YouTube. I went in way deeper tonight. I have a feeling that probably at least 95, if not 98% of the people on this planet would disagree with a lot of the things that I had said tonight, and that's perfectly fine. My concern is that pole shift is something that people get ready for, and that's the long and short of it. It's all the other things are just if we could put a word on it, historical, kind of. But the truth of the matter is, science proves that we are going through this right now, and as it progresses, things like the weather that we've dealt with and all that is also going to progress and get worse. And then when the pole shift itself happens, it's going to be catastrophic. It's going to be absolutely catastrophic. That is what I think about when I prep. I mean, there's a lot of things that I know that we're facing, but when I think overall of what to prep for, pole shift is what comes to my mind. And if you're prepped for pole shift, you can be prepped for anything. Now, that's not to say I'm not completely. It's not like, there's a whole lot of things that most of us could do to actually prep for pole shift. But however, if you make your target that big, then that means your preps are going to be hopefully equally as big. So just something to think about. Let's go ahead and hop into the headlines. I want to get this show over. I've got to go to the restroom. So let me read through these headlines as quick as I can so I can deal with me. All right. Israel announces COVID-19 lockdown easing for vaccine passport holders. New Mexico cop injured as suspect almost runs him over during attempted arrest. Russian activist Navalny back in court for third day of defamation trial, calling World War II veteran a corrupt lackey and traitor. Texas braces for water and cell service outages as massive blackout leaves millions freezing in the dark ahead of second snowstorm. China outpaces U.S. as Europe's largest trade partner in 2020. Bitcoin breaks above $50,000. First time in history as wider crypto adoption fuels record rally. Tsunami of disinformation. UK battles for BAME COVID-19 vaccine trust, translating jab information into 20 languages. Australian PM pledges major investigation in apology over woman's parliament rape claim. Axios memory holes Fauci's remarks. Axios memory holes Fauci's remarks contradicting Vice President Harris on non-existent vaccination plan under Trump. Mount Etna spews lava fountains to the sky in its latest explosive activity. India's economic recovery gaining steam, S&P says. Lawyer of ex-U.S. Marine convinced of spying in Russia says Moscow and Washington negotiating a prisoner exchange to bring him home. British LGBT soldiers hounded out of military can now get their medals back, UK Defense Ministry says. South Africa to share 1 million AstraZeneca COVID vaccine doses with continent as study says jab ineffective against local variant. $2 billion fine, a drop in the ocean for Potanin tycoon, is first Russian worth $30 billion despite penalty for oil spill disaster. UK government launches plan to fight unacceptable silencing in UK universities. Facebook once again shuts down Israeli anti-immunity passport group accused of sabotaging national vaccination. Russia should pay up to $800 billion for Soviet crimes of Ukrainian and Georgian leaders, says Lithuanian independence figurehead. The Hague court sides with activists, tells Dutch government to immediately lift illegitimate curfew. North Korean hackers attempted to steal Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine data, South Korean lawmaker claims. China may exercise nuclear option against U.S. defense industry with rare earths export ban, says report. Police deploy IR camera drone to raid underground Birmingham club sporting gym. Regarding recording studio. And VIP lounge. Sorry, I'm reading with one eye here. Let's see. Health inspector caught doing happy dance after wrongly shutting down brewery before Super Bowl. Hospitals still ration medical N95 masks as stockpiles swell. Tehran denies involvement in herbal attacks that left one American dead, says Iran won't jeopardize Iraq's stability and security. I talked about that during that special report earlier. As Paris asks Berlin to suspend Nord Stream 2, Gazprom reveals France has increased its own purchases of Russian gas by almost 50%. NATO ready for peace with Moscow or confrontation, Stoltenberg claims after ordering funding boosts for troops on Russian border. I talked about that earlier too. Let's see. Ukrainian bailiffs confiscate women's panties for Ministry of Justice auction to pay down debts. The article, right? Germany to offer free rapid COVID-19 antigen test to all residents from March 1st, says health minister. Spanish police arrest bogus Interpol agent who conned and blackmailed women into sending him intimate pics. Dramatic 24-hour standoff with Spanish rapper who barricaded himself in university ends with his arrest over tweets insulting the king. Despite Russian desire for better communications, talks with West impeded by manic insistence on sanctions focus, the Kremlin says. Texas County rushes to distribute thousands of vaccine doses to hospitals, universities, and jail as power outage knocked out freezer. Dogecoin can be Dogecoin can be part of the world with hundreds of reserve currencies, and analyst says the boom bust. Weekly COVID-19 deaths in England and Wales fall for the first time in 2021 as antibody prevalence in over 80s shoots up. Let's see. No more online learning. Foreign students at Russian universities can now enter country if they arrive with negative COVID-19 test. Germany rebuffs France's petition for supporting combat ops against Islamist militants in Sahel. WHO sends Ebola alerts to 6 countries after outbreak declared in Guinea as nations hope to avoid 2014 to 2016 disaster. Newsweek mocked for article on Biden winning Mario Kart race against granddaughter. Erdogan tells party faithful Turkey is ready to expand operations in northern Iraq against Kurdish militants. Let's see. There was a picture that was retweeted that was kind of interesting. The skyline of Houston was all lit up while everywhere around it was in the dark. Very interesting. Email reveals ex-FBI Comey signed FISA warrant despite knowing he couldn't verify Steele dossier on Trump, Russia. Thousands protest in Algeria demanding end of military state on anniversary of demos that ousted President Bouteflika. And I said that way wrong, I'm sure. 1.7 million more people in England told to shield from COVID-19 after checks by Oxford Uni algorithm. Lincoln Project leadership knew about harassment accusations against co-founder since March, says the media. Russia tightens foreign agents law for groups receiving overseas funding to prevent interference from hostile governments. New firework attack on French police reported in Paris suburb as two arrested for chucking Molotov cocktails at a cop car. Democratic congressman sues Trump over Capitol riot under Civil War era KKK Act, says he suffered emotional distress. Charges dropped against Amy Cooper, aka Central Park Karen, after she was made to attend racial equality psychoeducation. French anti-Islamism, French anti-Islamism bill prompted by beheading of teacher near Paris clears first hurdle in Parliament. New language, school asks parents to rate their whiteness and become white traitors or abolitionists. Kind of crazy. Robinhood CEO claims to be hiding in undisclosed location, supposedly facing death threats over restricting meme stock trading. Kamala Harris, not Joe Biden, makes some of the latest calls to world leaders, White House readouts reveal. Iran informs UN nuclear watchdog of end to surprise nuclear site inspections this month to enforce act of parliament. Russian-made Sputnik 5 and Epivac corona vaccines are effective against UK variant of coronavirus, says a watchdog. U.S. State Department authorized departure of non-emergency staff from Myanmar, a spokesman says. Russian warships arrive in Indian Ocean for joint naval drills with Iran. Israel's redefined meat raises $29 million as Bill Gates urges wealthy nations to embrace alternative meat lifestyle. Once again, whatever you want to call it, this craziness about this alternative meat is making its rounds. Biden supports 9/11-style commission to investigate U.S. Capitol riot as suggested by Pelosi, Graham, and others. Spanish police fire rubber bullets after Barcelona protest demanding rappers' release descends into riots. Trump remains unchallenged frontrunner among potential 2024 Republican presidential candidates, says a poll. We'll see. I mean, I know there was a lot of people hoping and saying and all that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Trump declares war on Senate GOP leader McConnell, calls him unsmiling hack who puts Beltway first. Canada introduces assault weapon buyback program following prohibition in 2020. White House confirms that Biden's first call to a Middle East leader will be Israel's Netanyahu. Syria's Idlib de-escalation zone shelled 29 times in the past day, Reconciliation Center says. Israeli committee approves procurement of F-35 jets and KC-46 refueling aircraft. Blinken says U.S. will look at other ways to advance strategic stability with Russia. Sicily's Mount Etna ejects lava and massive ash column in another stunning eruption. Bill Gates, once rich nation, same headline. The last two were kind of the same one. Dutch court reinstates coronavirus curfew and breakneck reversal of earlier order to end illegitimate policy. And that would be it. That's the headlines. I am going to get out of here. So, I got trash to take out. First, I'm running to the restroom, and I'm going to find me something to eat. So, I hope everybody has a good evening. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. Shalom.